Hey ladies, welcome. My name is Sherry Johnson, in case you haven't met me before. I am the founder and the coach at Sherry Johnson Coaching and the Love and Loss podcast. Wanted to introduce myself first while we're just waiting for people to hop on. I do like to start on time though, so I might just dive right in. Let me first tell you what this live video is about. You would have seen in the text above the video that I'm going to be talking about envy, and when you feel that, many women feel that kind of envy or jealousy of other pregnant women or new moms after their loss. So in this video, I'm going to explain the real reason that you feel that kind of envy after a pregnancy loss. I'm going to explain what the mirror effect is and how you can use it to shift your perspective. And the last thing I'm going to share is the one thing that you can do to drop that envy and feel better right away. And I'll give you a hint, it's actually the opposite of what you might think. Hey, hi Annie, hi, I see a couple people on. Put up in the chat if you can hear me okay and see me. Annie, maybe you can do that, just give me a yes that you can hear and see. Hopefully you can. I'm not seeing the comments. Okay, I'm gonna dive in. Okay, so let's get going. So many women speak about how difficult it is to be around women. Oh, thank you, Lorena. So many women talk about how difficult it is to be around pregnant women or new moms or even women with children after they've had a pregnancy loss. And understandably so. I felt that way too. And it can be even more challenging when you start trying to get pregnant again, or if you're struggling with infertility, which sometimes, of course, pregnancy loss and infertility go hand in hand. I myself experienced this kind of envy and jealousy, and it's excruciating. I have to tell you, I was so envious of pregnant women and women with new babies, even women in general with children. And I hated feeling that way. It made me retreat. I didn't want to go anywhere where I knew that there would be kids, where there would be women and babies. And in the small town where I live, that's practically everywhere. There's constantly events that are centered around children. And so I turned down all those events. I turned down baby shower invitations. I avoided community events. Sometimes I didn't even want to see the closest of friends if it meant spending time with their kids. And I hate to admit that, especially when one of my good friends is on the call, on the video. So I hope you'll forgive me, Annie. I'm sure that if you have had a pregnancy loss, if you're like me, you want to be free of this emotion. No one enjoys feeling jealous. It makes us feel kind of icky. And you want to feel at peace. You want to feel excited for your friends who are pregnant. You want to feel excited for them when they're celebrating the birth of their baby. You want to go to their baby showers and celebrate. You don't want to feel that envy and jealousy. So why are you experiencing this? I want to get into this a little bit and spend a few minutes just kind of breaking down this emotion for you. And hopefully it will change your perspective, as it certainly did mine. So some of you might know that I am a big Gabby Bernstein fan. I attended her in-person spiritual coaching programs, 2 of them, and her both levels, and I actually think of her as a personal mentor. And so I was listening to her new audiobook. It's called You Are the Guru, and it's an Audible exclusive, so you can't actually buy it in print. So I've been listening to it, and it's a great book, by the way. So in that book, she takes the feeling of envy and jealousy to a much deeper level than anything I've seen before. And so sometimes when we read personal development or spiritual development books, it's easy to see what the author means in relation to other people, but it's a lot harder to see what they mean in relation to yourself and your own personal situation. So I want to sort of interpret what or how I would apply Gabby's thoughts to the jealousy that women feel toward pregnant women after a loss, or women who have newborn babies. So in the book, Gabby says that jealousy represents an underdeveloped part of us that we wish to fulfill. So the emotion of jealousy is actually, I'm just going to check my notes here. So the emotion of jealousy is how our ego protects us from feeling less than others or feeling a sense of lack. So she goes on to say that the people who trigger your jealousy don't have what you want. They resemble who you are. I'm going to say that again because it's kind of profound. It had a huge effect on me. So the people who trigger your jealousy don't have what you want. They resemble who you are. They are the clearest reflection of the greatness within you. A greatness that you're actually maybe denying. And that's why you feel that way. So when you see other women and they trigger your jealousy, it's actually a reminder of who you are, of the greatness that you have within you and who you're actually prepared to be. So this is what I call the mirror effect. I just made that up. Gabby doesn't say that in the book, but I like to think of it as the mirror effect, because really what that person is a reflection of you. It's like holding up a mirror. So when I think of the way that I felt after my losses, I felt like I wasn't a mother. My body had failed me. And I felt like maybe I had played a part in that somehow, that I did something that maybe caused my miscarriages. And I felt like I didn't measure up to those other women. Like I didn't have as much worth as them because I didn't have a living baby in front of me. And I couldn't be the mother that they were able to be because they had living children. So they really did represent everything that I wanted to be. And as Gabby says, everything that I already was and everything that you already are. So when you think about it, a new mother, doesn't have any more experience than you do. In fact, sometimes I think of myself as having more experience with pregnancy than some of my friends, since I've actually been pregnant 3 times, and many of them have only been pregnant once or twice. So when there's conversations going on about the first trimester, I have loads of experience with that. And then the other thing is that you have already nurtured, educated, comforted, and loved a child or even many children in the way that a mother does. You've probably babysat, you might have nieces or nephews, you've been a camp counselor, you've been a teacher, a mentor, a coach to a child at least, if not many children. So that's the only experience that a woman has when she first becomes a mother. So you already are that. And the other thing that I would say about that is that you have already loved the way that some say only a mother can love. You've already had a baby in your belly. You protected and loved that baby in the same way as any mother would, if it were even on the outside of your body. So you've already experienced that mother's love, that beautiful love that we think of as only someone who already is a mother can experience. So you've experienced that too. So So coming back around to what I learned from Gabby Bernstein, when you start comparing yourself to the women that you envy, remember that they are reflecting the greatness that you already have inside of you. And those women that you envy represent who you already are. So this actually, for anyone who's watching who has not had a pregnancy loss, this can apply to any kind of jealousy or envy. So if you're envying somebody because they have the dream house that you would love to have, or they have gone on vacation and you want that particular experience, or whatever it is, you can kind of apply this. If they have a business that you would love to have, or the type of success that you would love to have, you can apply this to any kind of envy or jealousy that you're experiencing. So the last thing that I want to talk about is what you should do when you experience this kind of comparison and you find yourself in a state of jealousy or envy. So this was kind of big for me actually, because it's really the opposite of what you might think. So I will invite you to be open and just contemplate what I'm about to say, because it might be a little bit counterintuitive and not what you are going to instinctually want to do. So freedom comes when you see others as the person you really are. We've already talked about that. So let your envy show you your greatness, and maybe even allow or even thank the person who triggered your envy for reminding you of that. So you could even say to yourself, what I see in this person in front of me is a reflection of my own greatness. That's an example of maybe an affirmation you could use. So that was really something that was counterintuitive to me. But even if you don't feel that gratefulness for them right in the moment, just saying the words will actually help you to feel them. You'll feel a shift just when you say those words to yourself. So thank the person in front of you, or the person that you're thinking of that's sparking your envy, for reminding you of your greatness and inspiring your own truth, and accept your own greatness. So that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have questions, throw them up in the chat. In the meantime, I do get deeper into how to release envy and jealousy in my online coaching program, which is going to be opening up for enrollment very soon. I'm very excited about it. So watch for that. And for now, we're going to continue this conversation over in my private Facebook group. It's called Miscarriage, Love, and Loss. And I'll drop a link into Lorraine. I know you're already a member of that group, but for anybody who watches this later, I'll put a link up in the text as to how to get into that private group. And I'd love it if you join me over there. We're going to continue the conversation there. And I'm not seeing any questions up in the chat, so I will just say bye for now. And thank you so much for joining me. I'm so grateful that you're here, and I wish you well.